All right. What is up? I'm Kane from Dusty, Oregon, and I'm here with Wayne Tennant. How are you doing today?
I am doing well. I'm tired, but I'm glad to be here.
For context, this is the middle of POP Montreal. He just performed last night, well into the evening. Fantastic turnout, lots of energy. So I'm sure like performing is pretty draining.
Yeah, it totally is, especially just the preparation for it. It's just like people don't realize that just for 1 hour, for a 1 hour show, it's weeks.
The consensus was pretty clear. You put a lot of energy into it. It was a good time. You had a great time as well.
I had a great time. I felt like an outer body experience, but yeah, it was great, and just the crowd, great energy. So.
How have you been able to be performing more often recently since the pandemic's kind of, opening up and a bit more and stuff? Or was last night like...
So, man, more so than ever, I've had the busiest summer I've ever had in my entire career. And like you try to compare it to pre-COVID, yeah, no, it was crazy. I mean, just festivals like all summer. Awesome. So it was great.
Yeah, because you were playing with, you were not just touring, but you were touring with Busting the Bass, right?
And Charlotte Cadet in Quebec City for the summer festival, which is like the biggest one in Canada. So yeah.
How was it being on the big stage like that?
Insane. I've never performed in front of 40,000 people. So that was insane, and those were all her fans.
In terms of how long, because you've been doing this you've been performing and writing music for how long now?
So yeah, over 20 years.
Over two decades.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a spring chicken, but yeah.
How would you kind of, I'm sure it's been a bit of a roller coaster, but how would you describe, your kind of journey through the music industry in the last 20 years? Because a lot has changed, I'm sure. So
a lot has changed. It has its ebbs and flows. It's changed a lot from when I got excited about it, which can put you in a bitter kind of like cynical frame of mind. But I've managed to kind of like jump over that, because I got to remind myself of why I'm doing this, and it's far bigger than me. I've always said if I wanted to do this for money, I would have never chosen it. So it's beyond my understanding. I just know it's a passion, and I'm going to do it till the day I die. So, yeah.
Is there anything specific that you kind of latch onto that kind of keeps you going? Because I'm sure, it's got to be difficult, 20 years. And do you feel like you're finally stepping into yourself and there's been something anchoring you at all? Or?
Yeah, I think this is support. I think the fact that I've collaborated with people that I never thought I would be able to collaborate with, and see that they're still passionate about it, keeps me going.
Last night you premiered a new song that's coming out inevitably, eventually. Yeah. And the collaboration part of it too with Sandy, you're very excited about. And what's your relationship with her?
I've been a fan of her for years. She has this unique thing of DJing and singing at the same time, and that's her shtick, and it works, and she's just amazing. One day I was making a music video during COVID, actually, and I hit her up. I'm like, would you like to be a part of my music video? And she's like, yeah, let's do it. And we did that, and then when things started to open up, she had some new music coming out, so she invited me on the set of her music video, and ended up being part of it. And then we just kept saying, we need to work together. And then at the beginning of this year, I wrote my first song. I was working at home in my studio, and I wrote the hook and my first verse, and I was like, this is the perfect excuse to call her. So I didn't want to just to come and sing on the song. I wanted her to write also, because she's an amazing producer and writer. And so she wrote her verse, and she wrote half of the bridge, and here we are.
Yeah. And have you guys titled the track yet? Like, are you there yet?
Well, I performed it last night. It's called Here We Go Again. And when I called her up initially, I told her the premise of the story, and I said, listen, it's about that reoccurring lover or ex-lover that keeps coming back in your life, and when they come back, they're no good for you, but somehow they get you to do things that you're not supposed to do. They go left, you go left, you know what I mean? And she's like, that's the story of my life. Let's do it.
Is there, not to get too personal or anything, but is there like a specific story or anything from that experience with an ex and everything that really kind of triggered the songwriting part of it?
Yeah, because it's a bittersweet. And as much as it's annoying, there's a thrill in it. And I think I wanted to write that right from that standpoint because it's easy to write about love, but when you can write about something that unique that everybody can relate to and nobody really talks about, but they know it when they hear it, why not go for that? So that's what I did.
You have a pretty large discography, and your more recent one, Curfew Flowers, which came out last year, but it's still very relevant. It's still super, enjoyable to listen to. And there's one track on it that I know, people, the whole COVID song thing it felt a bit overwrought. Like a lot of artists were kind of doing it, but there's a really the metaphor that you used for it, the sun and the moon and everything. Kind of just walk us through like that track too, that main single.
Wow. Yeah, that's actually one of my favorites, Sun and Moon. It was a song of hope, really. I wanted to kind of write about how it affected me because when COVID hit, like I had to rethink, do I change my career because I'm directly affected by it. I can't perform in front of the public. What am I going to do? So I froze for about a month, got depressed, and I couldn't get out of bed, and I'm stuck at home. I can't go out. And at some point, I had friends come to me and say, Wayne, like, this is the perfect time to release music. Like, do something. And long story short, a couple of guys that wanted to work with me, Noah Days and Nick Pura, they collaborated with me on this record. And anyways, fast forward, we're in the middle of the record, and they send me the stems for the musical portion of it. And I was like, something of hope. This is the last song of the record. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. We just don't know when it's going to show itself. And I was like, well, I haven't got COVID yet. I got all my shots. I'm safe. So many people died. God rest their souls. Respect to them. But I'm still here, and I can still see the sun and the moon.
I love that line.
Yeah, we didn't disappear. So be grateful in that. So I wanted to write from that aspect without saying COVID.
And I'm sure listeners appreciate it too, where you kind of beat around the bush a little bit. It's all very clear what you're talking about, but the use of the metaphor is really appreciated, I'm sure. So,
like when when life serves you lemons, you make a jug of lemonade. That's one of the lyrics, and it was pure lemons for 3 years. So yeah, there's still hope, and I'm still gonna go forward, and I've never been more creative than now. So I just use that as fuel to keep going. So.
Awesome. Yeah, and the other thing too is coming out of it all too, the premise of community and working with other people and keeping it tight knit thing. I got to say, like for people watching, like Wayne is one of the most supportive people I've ever met too. He's very much about other people around him, and basically I want to ask, like, how important is it to keep people close and respect their work and help them grow?
It's of the utmost importance because I realize that I'm not alone in this game, and being a musician, being an artist is a very lonely one because a lot of people get a bad sense of what an artist is. They think it's just all the smoke and mirrors, and they don't realize the blood, the sweat, the tears, and the second guessing of yourself that, it's not every day I wake up feeling like I want to do this, So keeping myself close with other people that are going through the same thing and supporting, and, even when they're not feeling it, it gives me energy because I've been there, So it's so important because I think musicians are kind of like disciples to the planet as far as I'm concerned. Music is such an important aspect of this planet, and I don't think people realize it until they don't have it.
Yeah, music is such an enigmatic part of the universe and everything, and it's very exciting to that people like you are part of it and making the most out of it too. So thank you, Wayne. Essentially, yeah.
Thank you, man. Like I can't stop repeating it. Like your whole organization, Dusty Organ, it's just unique, and it's grassroots, and it's classy at the same time, and you're always kind of like just finding new artists. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. This interview, I'm going to cut everything else except for that one line. That's all right. Thanks, bro. Anyways, yeah, check out Wayne Tennant's new EP, Curfew Flowers. Stay tuned for new music featuring, what was her name again? Sandy
Duperval.
Val. What a great last name. So, yeah, thanks so much, Wayne. Thanks for sitting down with me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. All the best.
Take care.